5 senior Biden staffers are about to be hauled before Congress. And what's their crime? Using a machine to forge the president's signature on God knows how many official documents while he suffered cognitive decline. We're continuing our coverage of the AUTOPEN scandal that's exploding across Washington. James Comer just announced criminal referrals are coming. Trump's DOJ is launching a full investigation, and the list of suspects reads like a who's who of radical left operatives who hijacked our government. Subpoenas are flying, lawyers are panicking, and the biggest question remains: if Biden wasn't signing the orders, who was really running America? The names we're about to reveal will infuriate you. So keep on watching. And while Congress investigates the who forged Biden's signatures on executive orders, millions of Americans are forging ahead with natural pain relief that actually works. If you're getting to that age where your body hurts all the time, listen up. Don't reach for another painkiller until you learn about this turmeric hack for pain and inflammation. Regular turmeric might help a little, but a Connecticut pain doctor discovered a special extract that's 200 times more powerful. And when he shared this hack with patients, the results were shocking. This extract attacks pain at the source, turning it off like a light switch. Dr. Josh spent 20 years helping thousands break free from constant aches. No expensive surgeries, pain injections, or ineffective medications, just pain-free living. Once I started taking it regularly, I noticed a real difference. You can learn about Dr. Josh's turmeric hack at goldenrevive.com/NNN. It's linked down below. Now, my friends, the AUTOPEN scandal just went nuclear. President Trump, he's not mincing words about what he calls the biggest scandal in 100 years. Watch him drop this bombshell in the Oval Office earlier today, when a reporter simply tried to downplay the story. Watch.
Somebody said AUTOPEN. Did I hear the word AUTOPEN?
I'm just curious.
Because I think it's the biggest scandal maybe in the last 100 years in this country. So when I hear that word, I think it has to be discussed, because the fake news will try and hide it, and we can't do that. But go ahead.
Have you uncovered any evidence that anything specific was signed without President Biden's knowledge or by other people in the administration acting illegally?
Well, I don't think Biden would know whether or not he signed it.
I'm asking if you've uncovered any evidence.
No, but I've uncovered, the human mind. I was in a debate with the human mind, and I didn't think he knew what the hell he was doing. So, it's just one of those things, one of those problems. We can't ever allow that to happen to our country. The danger our country was in, and I know some of the people that worked with him, radical left, horrible people. And I could give you the name of some of the people that used the AUTOPEN, because I'm here, and I ask questions about people that were here also. There are a lot of people that were here when that happened, and they're here right now, and they'll answer your question very accurately. But I know some of the people that used that AUTOPEN, and those are not the people that had the same ideology as Joe Biden. These were radical left lunatics that used that, and they didn't get elected. He didn't get elected either, actually.
He didn't get elected either. Radical left lunatics, that's who Trump says used the AUTOPEN, and he knows their names. He's been asking questions, and people who were there are talking. And it goes deeper than anyone imagined. Trump doubled down on just how serious this constitutional crisis really is. His comparison to the 2020 election tells you everything about the magnitude of this scandal. Watch.
Your predecessor dismissed your AUTOPEN investigation and made all the decisions during the presidency. I'm curious your reaction to his dismissal.
Well, look, the AUTOPEN, I think, is the big scandal outside of the rigged election of 2020. I think the biggest scandal of the last many years is the AUTOPEN. And who's using it? I happen to think I know, okay, because I'm here. And I'm not a big AUTOPEN person, fortunately. I'm glad. I'm very glad. It's an easy way out. But it's a very bad thing, very dangerous. I sign important documents. Usually when they put documents in front of you, they're important. Even if you're signing ambassadorships, and I consider that important. I think it's inappropriate. You have somebody that's devoting 4 years of their life or more to being an ambassador. I think that person deserves to get a real signature, not an AUTOPEN signature. And I can tell AUTOPEN easily. I can look at it. Like 2 little pinholes from pulling the paper, right? You always see the pinholes. Yeah. It's real easy to tell about AUTOPEN.
Those pinholes he mentioned, That's how you spot an AUTOPEN signature. 2 little holes from the machine gripping the paper. Trump can spot them instantly, and now investigators are going back through thousands of documents looking for those telltale marks. But here's where it gets really interesting. Byron Donalds just revealed the investigation is moving at lightning speed, and these Biden officials better lawyer up fast. Watch.
You're having some hearings, you're going through the evidence. Out of the testimony and evidence you've looked through so far, what's jumping off the page to you so far?
Well, I mean, look, right now we're just getting started. I know the first batch of letters that went out, those members of the Biden administration did not want to come in and sit for a transcribed interview. So in my view, we need to just go ahead and subpoena them. Let's not play games. The statement that was just released by President Biden, let's just be perfectly honest, he didn't write that statement because the American people know that he hasn't been able to have a coherent statement towards the American people in well over 2 years. This is, again, them covering up. We already know that he was an elderly gentleman with a faulty memory. That came out of the special counsel's report, and that was almost 2 years ago. And so we need to get to the bottom of this. You cannot have White House officials using the president's signature without the president's knowledge. And that is the core of our investigation. We are going to go look for every piece of evidence going down through that view, and then we'll see where we end up after that. But as far as I'm concerned, whether it's Anita Dunn, White House counsels, White House chief of staff, the White House doctor, they need to be subpoenaed. They got to come in and answer questions.
Yep.
Haul them in, baby. Haul them all in. Let them plead the fifth. Anita Dunn, White House counsel, chief of staff, even the White House doctor, they're all getting subpoenaed. Donald's made it clear, crystal clear. Lying to Congress is a felony, and Pam Bondi's DOJ is ready to prosecute. Now, the scope of the scandal is staggering. Senator Grassley suggests that thousands of documents might have been signed by AUTOPEN, including pardons for convicted murderers. Watch.
You've got an ear to the ground down there. What's your hunch at the moment?
My hunch at the moment is that they're going to come up with a lot of things that the president did not sign, maybe thousands of things that's signed by AUTOPEN. And if that's the case, it would raise a lot of questions about the thoroughness when 2,500 people were pardoned, including people with a murder conviction. Those are serious charges. I don't know the answer, but I'm sure that Pam Bondi will get to the bottom of it.
Okay, but Senator, I apologize for the interruption there. It's my understanding it's not illegal to use an AUTOPEN, is it?
I can't answer that question for you. Maybe I should be able to, but I can't, and I'm not going to comment on something I don't know for sure.
Okay, so what the president's talking about is 200 judges appointed to federal benches, the issuance of more than 1,000 presidential documents. There are questions about pardons, et cetera, and we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, we're going to see where this goes. Let's hope it goes right to prison. I mean, think about that. Murderers might have been pardoned by a machine while Biden was sleeping in his applesauce. I mean, how is that even legal? How is it even constitutional? Well, it's not. Now, Biden's team is scrambling. They released a pathetic statement claiming that Biden made all the decisions, but Peter Doocy, yeah, the deuce is loose at the White House, exposes how even Biden's inner circle is now turning on each other. Watch.
Trump White House about the possibility of Biden aides pulling the strings while he declined. So now President Biden's office tells us this. Let me be clear. I made the decisions during my presidency. I made the decisions about the pardons, executive orders, legislation, and proclamations. Any suggestion that I didn't is ridiculous and false. But the current President Trump ordered the DOJ with a new memo last night to investigate if former President Biden's aides abused the power of presidential signatures through the use of an AUTOPEN to conceal Biden's cognitive decline and assert Article 2 authority. There are now 5 more senior staffers being asked to appear for interviews about the president's mental health. Michael Donnellan, Anita Dunn, Ron Klain, Bruce Reed, Steve Ricchetti. That is the inner circle of Biden world. The press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, not on that list, but she's got a new book about the broken Biden White House and her decision to leave the Democratic Party. Biden officials are telling Politico. Everyone thinks this is a grift. Somebody else says she made a joke about being an independent last year, and now it's a book. All ideas are monetary, even the dumb ones. Here is her pitch.
Of misinformation, disinformation, the regressiveness of social policy, what we're seeing currently right now, what I have decided to do, and I really have thought long and hard about this, is to follow my own compass. And that's what I've done. And that's what this book does. It's about looking outside of boxes, not just always being in a partisan stance.
Yeah, so now we wait to see if there's going to be a chapter in there about the time that she told me there was no cover-up of President Biden's decline, or the time that she told me that questions about his acuity were a rabbit hole in this book about misinformation and disinformation.
The deuce is loose. Karine Jean-Pierre has a new book out, baby. Yeah, trying to clean her soul, just like Jake Tapper is. But souls that dark can never be cleansed, no matter how thick the book is. Michael Donlin, Anita Dunn, Ron Klain, Bruce Reed, Steve Ricchetti. These are the puppet masters who potentially ran America while Biden was sleeping. Yeah, passed out, applesauce drooling down his face, Jill Biden answering the phones. Yeah, remember, every one of those names should be burned into every American's memory. And yeah, Karine Jean-Pierre writing a tell-all book about the broken White House. It's laughable. It's absolutely laughable. I mean, she's now jumping ship, trying to cash in on all this chaos. Here's more.
Well, Peter, I don't know what to interpret this. My colleagues think that she defends Joe Biden in the book, but by the subtitle, Broken White House, it makes me think that she might break from Biden in the book.
Believe it or not, some Biden folks were texting me yesterday, and they think that she is going to use this to settle scores against two people in particular at the Biden White House who it has been widely reported she had beef with, which would be John Kirby, who she actively blocked from the podium, even though he was a favorite of President Biden, and Anita Dunn, who there were various stories last year that Anita Dunn was getting her jobs outside the White House and saying, please, just take this job, you'll make more money, and go. And it never happened. So it's possible that she says, President Biden was a nice guy, it was his staff. But the problem is, she remained in the job. So no matter what she writes, unless she says that there was somebody standing with a gun to her head right behind the little door that slides open and saying, you better say that he's okay, and that it's a conspiracy to ask any questions or suggest otherwise, or else, then I don't know how it's going to work saying that there's too much misinformation and disinformation, except
Karine Jean-Pierre was part of the cover-up. Okay, she was the mouthpiece for the entire administration. Okay? I mean, Ducey's like, yeah, unless she had a gun to her head and they were forcing her to say it, whatever. Doesn't matter. She went out there and said it. She could have just simply resigned and said, I'm not going to spew those lies. But no, even if she did have a gun to her head, she went out there anyway and said it. Now she's trying to cash in. This is so funny. I mean, this is so funny. You got Karine Jean-Pierre writing a book. Turd Tapper writing a book. Who's next? Who's the next one going to write a book about this? Trying to cleanse their filthy soul.
in her book.
I think your name will be in the book, too.
It's so true. It's insane.
My name, what's she going to say? Like, Peter Ducey was right?
By just asking questions.
No, she's not.
Right.
I'll bet you guys $1 each that that's not in there.
Right. But
you don't think your name will be in the book. You were the one who kept asking her so many questions that were challenging.
I'm sure my name will be in there about somebody who gave her a really hard time, but it seems like she is framing this book as she was the one person in the White House on either side of the podium who had an independent streak and was battling against all these. I mean, look, I didn't read it. I don't have an advanced copy. She didn't ask me for my insights. Right. But it's out in October.
Out in October. Let's hope she gets subpoenaed before then. She's going independent. Yeah, that's the name of the book. And she's settling scores against Kirby and Dunn. The rats are fleeing the sinking ship, and they're all pointing fingers at each other. And then we have James Comer dropping the hammer just last night. Every staffer has 24 hours to schedule their interview or face subpoenas. The entire House Oversight Committee is ready for war. Watch.
James Comer's with us. James Comer, let's start with you and say, okay, so you have been in touch with 4 people on his staff and his doctor. What is the status of that? And are you planning on calling a lot more people?
Yes, but to answer your first question, we've had communication for over a week now with their attorneys. We notified the 4 staffers and Dr. O'Connor 10 days ago. We've made rapid progress in 10 days. You have to give them an opportunity to come in voluntarily. You have to give them an opportunity to hire an attorney, or in other words, due process. They've hired attorneys. Our staff attorneys have been communicating with their attorneys. I'm very pleased to announce tonight that I expect a date to be announced very soon where every staffer will be coming forward and answering questions voluntarily by our committee. If for some reason they backtrack in the next 24 hours, then they will receive a subpoena, and they know that. With Dr. O'Connor, we have a call tomorrow with his attorneys. I expect the same from Dr. O'Connor. So this investigation's moving at a rapid pace, Sean, and you know that there's been a ton of information that's come out in the last 7 days from eyewitness accounts, the tell-all books, the Tapper book, people like Buttigieg, interviews that have surfaced where Joe Biden didn't know about executive orders he just signed. So this investigation, I think, is going to move at a pace that we're very pleased to see for a congressional investigation.
It's going to move at a pace that we're very pleased to see for a congressional investigation. Oh, I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. I can't stand when these freaking committees drag on and on and on and on. Can we just get some freaking justice? How about that? These won't be friendly chats. There'll be transcribed interviews under oath. Republicans get an hour, Democrats get an hour, rotating until every question is answered. Lie once, do not pass go, do not collect $200, go directly to jail. And Comer revealed the investigation is moving faster than any in recent memory because even the left-wing media knows this was a massive cover-up. Watch.
Will these people be under oath for these transcriptions?
Yes, if they come in voluntarily, they will have to sit down for interviews. The way a congressional transcribed interview goes, the majority party, which of course is the Republicans, will have an hour to ask questions. Every member on the House Oversight Committee who wants to participate in that will participate in that, along with our attorneys, and the Democrats get an hour. We'll rotate back and forth until we ask all the questions. These are very substantive. If you lie to Congress, that's a felony. If they come in with a subpoena, then that'll be a deposition, which is a little more formal. But either way, if they say something that's not true, that's a felony, and they will be referred criminally to Pam Bondi at the Department of Justice. They know that. That's why they've hired, it looks to me like pretty big time attorneys to come in. And now I can say tonight on your show, Sean, that we're moving on to the next batch of people that we've identified that would have some responsibility of the AUTOPEN. The amount of information that's coming in is very rapid. And with this investigation versus the last Biden influence peddling investigation, we haven't thus far faced a weaponized left-wing media because I think the left-wing media knows that this was a cover-up. And I think there's a little bit of curiosity now as to who was actually running the country.
Yeah, lots of questions. Lots of questions. I mean, we've been covering this. You've seen the coverage about even Morning Joe coming out. And Turd Tapper, of course, trying to cleanse his soul. Okay, the floodgates are open. Whistleblowers are coming forward. Books are exposing the truth. Interview clips are surfacing where Biden didn't even know about executive orders he supposedly signed. Specifically talking about when Mike Johnson was like, hey, do you remember signing the LNG export executive order? What are you talking about? Right? But it's not just about signatures. It's about how a shadow government operating without constitutional authority ran our country. Unelected bureaucrats wielding presidential power while the real president couldn't remember his own name. I mean, you saw the clip we played the other day. Peter Doocy brought it up to the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, that the one document that appeared to be real was the one where he signed the pardon for his son. And Biden couldn't even get his last name signed correctly. I mean, the signature looks so sloppy. Even Peter Doocy said it looks like Biden didn't know how to spell his name. Every document signed by AUTOPEN is potentially invalid. Every appointment, every executive order, every pardon, all of it could be unconstitutional. The legal challenges will last years. Let's just pray that this committee moves way faster than that. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. Now, the AUTOPEN scandal reveals the ultimate betrayal of our American republic. We're not talking about some minor paperwork issue. We're talking about a silent coup where unelected radicals seized presidential power where the elected president was mentally absent. Every American should be absolutely furious. If you actually voted for Biden, okay, you voted for Biden, not Anita Dunn. You voted for a president, not a committee of anonymous staffers with a signature machine. The fact that they hid this from us while making decisions about war and spending and pardons is absolutely criminal. And my question is, where was Barack Obama during all of this? Who was he calling? Was he pulling the strings too? Oh, I want to know that answer. Now, here's what should terrify everybody. If they could pull this off with Biden, what else have they gotten away with? How many other decisions were made by shadow figures while pretending the president was in charge? Now, this is bigger than Watergate because at least Nixon was actually president when he committed those crimes. These people stole the presidency itself. So here's what I want you to weigh in. Weigh in the comments. I'm going to read these. And if you want to make sure I read it, use my name, Gary, and then drop your whatever comment. Should everybody involved in the AUTOPEN scandal face treason charges? Remember, Donald Trump even said, this is treason. So drop a yes or a no. Should they face treason charges? Let me know below. And if you're fired up and you want to support the truth, go to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and grab a Next News Network hat and show the world that you stand with truth, because we are going to get to the bottom of this.